What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Blue Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. You know what's funny? Actually, it's not funny. I guess it is kind of funny. Um, so, Jerry Jones was trying to defend his draft pick. Um, he was in full spin control and trying to tell us that Tyler Smith, that we had Tyler Smith as the 16th best player in the draft and brought the paperwork to prove it. Now, I told you guys what was interesting is every one of the Eagles picks except for one were players that came to visit the Dallas Cowboys. The 30 visits, only two of their draft picks actually went to visits at their own place. So somehow, some way, there's a coincidence there that Howie Roseman kind of followed along and said, well, if the Cowboys are checking them out, they must not be so bad. And it turns out, James Slater was reporting that there were two other teams because, see, Mel Kiper Jr. is trying to sell you the crock of crap that, well, the Cowboys, they screwed up. Yeah, they drafted a guy that you could have gotten in the second round. That just pissed me off. How do you know? How many? I want to know how many picks did Mel Kiper Jr. get right? Is the reason why you're mad is because you didn't follow along what he said to do? And we know how you screw things up. I mean, Josh Rosen. Do I need to say any more than Josh Rosen? Just right there. So it turns out there were two other teams that were trying to move up to try and get Tyler Smith. So the whole theory of he would have been there for you in the second round if you had just waited goes out the window. And should I say Paxton Lynch? Because, he said Paxton Lynch is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott. And you see he's bombed out in the USFL, right? You see that, right, Mel? All right. So Jerry Jones at the press conference was there. He's trying to tell you, we know this boy can play. Hey, here, look at my draft sheet here. I got him as the 16th best player on our board. So, unfortunately, today, it only takes a moment with the clarity of the cameras, all the megapixels and everything else, and just, that much can be stopped. It can be enhanced. It can be zoomed in. So, the list that the Cowboys have, I can't believe the word is out. That's right. The word is out. The list is out. Jerry Jones has given up his secrets, the secret list. And people are kind of analyzing this and trying to figure out if there's a rhyme or reason to their method because they've done pretty good in the draft. See, if you are the Eagles and you look at some of the things that they've done over the last few years with their high draft picks and the amount of busts have gone through there, if you think about the Giants and the amount of busts that have happened with them and stuff, you definitely want to see if you can get an advantage and learn from Jerry Jones. But now here's the question that I actually have. In order to draft well, you have to be good at analyzing football players, right? You check out the measurables, between the height, the size, the weight, the strength. You get in their head, with the Wonderlink test. You're checking out the shuttle run, the vertical leap and things, the leadership qualities and things, and making a choice on guys that have never played in the NFL. And the Cowboys have been really good at that. So here's my question. If the Cowboys have drafted more players that have become all pros over the last 10 years, more than anybody else, how come they don't apply that same logic, that skill set that they have, that propensity of finding great players with free agents. The problem with college players, you don't know which ones are going to work out and be able to excel the next level or ones that are going to be bust. You don't know if some players are only good because they have a lot of talent around them and they're playing inferior talent. But when they get to the NFL, where everybody is talented, there's not a lot of difference between, an NFL player on a good team versus an NFL player on a bad team in comparison to college football. Some college teams, guys on the second string would be starters on other teams, maybe MVPs on other teams. That's not necessarily the case when you get to the NFL. So, judging which guys are really players and going to be good ones in the NFL is difficult. You would think, having now the matrix of an NFL player playing in the NFL against talent that is comparable and not necessarily having nothing but great players around them, that it would be easier to figure out which free agents would be ones that are there for a paycheck and ones that'll end up being the ones to get you over top. See, the Cowboys' problem of getting to the Super Bowl isn't the draft. It's not finding rookie undrafted free agents. They do a great job with that. They do that better than anybody else. Where they lack, one, is coaching sometimes. And I'm still not crazy about Joe Phelan as the offensive line coach. I still have questions about Kellen Moore because the second half of the season and in the playoffs, why didn't we run any 12 personnel in the playoffs? Any? Like even one play? But be that as it may, the other problem is the Cowboys are falling short on talent to compete against other teams because they don't use all the tools that are available to them, and that being using free agency. And that's where a team like the Rams, which was good to begin with, ends up just taking their talent level up another notch because they bring in more bodies. Doesn't mean that every one of them that they bring in works, but if you bring in enough, you're going to have more in this game that you call a war of attrition. You are going to lose players. And when you lose frontline players, if you go from having one of the best in the position to one of the worst, your team is going to suffer big time. And with that being said, that's all I got for you. It's about 11:30. My cutter's got about another hour to go. I need to let that thing finish and then put some black paint in the carbon so I can sand it in the morning. And hit the road. Got to get working on this unit. So, here we are. End of another day. Make sure you guys keep your thoughts and stuff and prayers for Brother Stewart. Stewart is having a really hard time right now, and he needs all of us. Trying to think of what I can do to try and help. If you guys have any ideas, by all means, please share them with me. I always say, Tell somebody you love them tonight. Make sure you do that. God willing, I'll see you guys in the morning, and I love you.